welcome back to Corporate Classy, but please come correct podcast. I am your host, Alberta Thomas, and I am dreading, but also want to have this conversation that we're about to talk about. But before I get started, I will tell you it is Sunday with my company, with the company I work for. We do a amazing job giving back to the local community. So today, every one of my location gave away backpacks today and made huge events. Listen, I'm a TCC fan all day for all the good that we do. So if you haven't heard about TCC, go check them out. Go to the website. We don't play about the culture, giving back to the community. It's a beautiful thing. And so go check it out. And again, not only that, I've been just thinking August will make 10 years. 10 years I've been with this amazing company. And it's a beautiful thing. And I am so excited. Maybe I should do an episode celebrating the transition, maybe just talking about what that entails. And maybe I can invite somebody on to kind of help me talk through that a little bit. I'm going to see. I gotta see. So today we were doing good. I was at one of my locations. They had the gaming truck out there. We had food. We had ices because it's hot as ever in Georgia. What else did we have? Juice, waters, chips, cookies, you name it, we had it. And just being able to connect with the community is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so we do it every year. Check it out. I always share a flyer every year on my social media page as well, too. So it's a beautiful thing. I love when we do give back, and I love to be a part of those things. And just shout out to my team. My team put some time in making sure they made an impact with setting things up. And so after I left the event, I came straight home, and some of the things that I've been thinking about, because I just had my birthday. On my birthday, if you know me, I'm doing something dealing with self-care. I never really want to party or anything. It's just sometimes I just want to, it's just a day of relaxation, good food, spa days. I love doing things like that. That's my thing. And so because I had to work on the following day, I just did a spa day and I went to dinner with one of my friends, and it was a beautiful thing. But I don't think people understand or probably realize, if I think about last year, the same time, I found out on my birthday that I was pregnant. I was 3 months pregnant and I was going to be a mama. And so I remember, and it's crazy because I only tell this story to only talk about this story with my friends and my family that knew at the time. I was in Florida. And so it's crazy because I found out I was pregnant right before I left to go to Florida. And I was traveling to Florida for work. And I'm like, I want to make sure. So no one knows, but always used to come a day early because at the time I live in Oregon. So I always came a day early to work because I live so far away. So I got to come all the way back down because I live all the way at the top on the West Coast. And so I always came a day early. So the day going into my birthday, literally, y'all, it was after midnight. I'm in the ER. Just wanted to make sure everything is okay. I was feeling tired. I was feeling short as a breath. And I just need to make sure that pregnancy test that I took at home, that this is actually real, right? And so they did the ultrasound, and I remember the lady telling me like, "Oh my God, you got a little baby in there." And so we did the time and everything like that. And then and she was like, "Yeah, you got a baby. That's why you've been tired." But let me tell you what sparked me to like, maybe I need to take a pregnancy test. When I tell y'all, I was on this vinegar. Now, I've never been pregnant a day in my life. So I was on this vinegar thing. I had addiction to pickles. Anything that was vinegar based, I was eating. I'm like, this is weird. Why do I want pickles? Why do I have a sense of urge for anything like chips? Anything that got vinegar, hot sausage, that's just what I wanted. And so it was that. And man, when I tell you I was tired, I was always sleeping. And for me, if you know me, I don't sleep in the middle of the day. That's not, I never took naps. I was exhausted. I was tired. I was breathing hard. But not only that, I was in the gym heavy. I lost over 30 pounds. And then come to find out, I'm carrying a little button in my tummy. And so I was like, okay. So then I'm like, whoo, I'm having a baby. And I remember prior to when I took a pregnancy test at home, I called my sister. I'm like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And she was like, y'all, the thing is funny. She was like, okay. Like you would think I'm like a child running to tell my parents like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. What am I going to do? And she was like, okay, you're adult. You pregnant. So what? I mean, about time. I'm like, God. And so I was excited. Let me tell you why I was excited, because if you listen to my podcast, I always talk about me doing life a little differently, right? So of course, growing up, I wanted a husband. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to be a wife. I wanted all of these things in my life. But as I kind of continued to maneuver through life, I'm like, I don't think that's the path for me right now. I don't think in that order, I don't think that's for me right now. And so my mindset, my entire 20s going into my 30s, I'm now 35. It was build your career, build stability, live your life. Those were that was literally that was it. And so if you know me, or if I got into relationships, people will tell you like she worked hard, like she's on a mission, like she on a mission trying to get things done. Don't get me wrong, sometimes that would be and let me backtrack. In a relationship, sometimes if you don't have a partner that understands that you like to work, you're chasing something, sometimes you may have to pivot, sometimes you may have to move. If you don't have a partner that supports that, then the alignment is off and it's not going to work, right? So you just got to make sure that when you do maneuver life, that you are okay with losing people along the way, or you okay with just, being and going after whatever it is that you want to go after. And so for me, that's always been a thing. Now, in your partner's eyes, it could come off as they're not important, you don't care about the relationship. So you got to be able to find a really nice balance with that to reassure them that yes, you care, but you also on a mission and you also want things and you want the stability. You want to be in a good space. And so it's important that you talk about those things. And so let me get back on topic. So I remember finding out that night. I ended up confirming it with my partner at the time and letting him know, like, listen, we're having a baby. We were excited. When I say we were excited, we was excited that one, it wasn't planned. It just happened. And well, I guess you can't really say it just happened. If you don't use protection, then it's a possibility. And so it was exciting. And I think I was so excited to the point where it was like, oh my God, things in my life are falling into place. Like I did the work, I put my career first, I went through life just building and building and building. And now I got something that's going to slow me down just a little bit and I can build my own family and get to that space. And so it was a beautiful thing. I know I celebrated it. When I was in Florida, I was able to work a little bit. I shared it with some people at the time, but I think people started to kind of realize it because I wasn't drinking alcohol. I was just drinking a whole bunch of water and breathing hard, like just breathing hard, just out of breath. And so I think people kind of picked up on it. But yes, I was having a baby. And so I remember I met my family down there in Florida. We did a vacation because I was already there. My partner came down. One of my best friends was there. And so it was a beautiful thing. My family was excited, but also, when you're in that first, I think it's called first trimester, you don't want to get too excited because anything can happen in that moment. Once you get past that, it's like, okay, this is real. And so I was still kind of in that phase, right? And so I remember coming back home and I remember in the middle of the night, I was starting to feel like really, really bad. And I ended up going to the emergency room and I ended up staying in there. You know when you're going to emergency room and then no one is talking It's like, oh shit, something bad is happening. My partner at the time, he was out of town. So I am going through the motion of these things by myself with my friends on the phone, my sister on the phone, and things of that nature. So I'm just navigating through that. And so when people aren't talking, and so this is how I know. When I went to the hospital the first time on my birthday, when I found that I was pregnant, the lady was excited to talk about you got a button in there, right? And so this go around, when I'm getting the ultrasound, it's like quiet. I'm like, something happened to my baby. Like I already knew it in my mind that something was wrong. And so when you go through the process of that, it's hard. And then again, I was alone besides the phone. This is why I don't sleep on technology, okay? Technology is needed and is important because I've had moments throughout that whole entire process. And I'm not even going to go into the rawest of the rawest of the rawest details because it was traumatic. Listen, I lost my baby. Do I know why I lost my baby? No. You know what the doctors say? Yeah, it just happens. It just happens. What can you do with that? So going through the process of that emotionally, my God, that was traumatic. And then not only that, not understanding that, oh my God, I'm gonna have to pass this baby on my own. I didn't know I was supposed to be on pain pills. I had nothing. So imagine going through a process for almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I would say, just depending on your body. Going through that entire process was fucking traumatic. Yeah, it was a traumatic experience. And if you want to talk about it, call me. I'll talk about it with you if you ever experienced that. But it's crazy that I can talk about it right now because before I couldn't talk about it without being emotional or crying, or I didn't talk about it at all. I just kind of kept it and navigated to myself, but it was tough just being able to go through that process, all that pain and the grieving portion of it and the thought process behind it. It was extremely hard. I know I dealt with it for a very long time. I am still not 100%, but as time progressed, I got better and better and better and better. And it's crazy because when things like this happen or you grieving, and I'm gonna tell you a story around grief that I learned from this process. I've learned so much. Like I've learned so much. And so when you're grieving, you don't know what to feel or what to think or did I do something wrong or is this my fault? Should I stay at home? Should I relax? I was on go. So it's like you're trying to navigate through blaming yourself for the reason your baby is no longer here. And that's not the case, right? And so I didn't understand then, but I understand now, if that makes sense. But I want to back up a little bit before I tell you the lesson in that, right? So some of the lessons that I've learned too is that sometimes life is not always guaranteed. And so I stopped putting off the people that I love, right? And so it makes you realize that the people that you love, you want to make sure you take time and you want to care for them and you want to be there for them. And I would tell you, I was the friend. Let me tell you what kind of friend I was, because I'm not that friend anymore. I was the friend who didn't understand how to process things if there was someone close to me that passed away or if someone close to me was grieving, right? I didn't want to be that person to say, I'm sorry that that's happening or it's going to be okay. I don't like that stuff. That stuff, when people say that, it bothers me because no, I don't like the generic responses, so I try my best not to give that, right? My responses are more so like, how can I support you? What is it that I can do for you in this moment? Maybe it's a hug or whatever the case may be, but I couldn't really like be that friend. If something really bad happened to that capacity, my friends would probably not call me. That was the old me because I didn't know what to give because that's an emotion that I didn't experience or tap in. So lesson number two right now was that I know now how to process grief, how to respond to grief or how to be there for my friends. Cause I got a lesson. I got a lesson and a blessing in disguise. And so now I know how to have the conversations. I know how to stop in a moment and let me pray for you. I know how to get in my car and drive if you close enough to get to you. I know how to maneuver that now. So that's the other lesson. And I would tell you too, when I sit and replay life during the loss, life after the loss, and life currently, God knew exactly what he was doing. He did. Because I would tell you again, in my mind, I know I want to settle down. I know I'm in a spot like, y'all, here's the thing. I'm 35. I know exactly what it is that I want. I know exactly what I want. And so, because I know what I want to get what I want. And sometimes it don't come the way that you think is going to come, but I know what I want. And I know what I'm looking for in a partner. And I know what I want life to look like. I know I want a kid now. You couldn't ask me that. If you asked me that 10 years ago, I might not have. I might not ever no kids. If you know me, Alberta with no kids, zero. I didn't want it. But my sister always told me, when you find the right person, you will want kids. When you get a little bit older, you will probably want kids. And so she didn't lie. She understand again. Why she understands? She know from experience. And so I know that I want a family. I know I want to be a wife. I know I want all of these things. And the timing wasn't right. And so now when I replay things in my mind and see how he give me little snippets of this is why I didn't give you that baby right now. This is why this took place right now. God was protecting me. And he always do. Listen, hands down, he always protect me and make sure I'm well taken care of. And that's the beautiful thing. That is the beautiful thing about it. And again, in the moments you never know, but with time, you will understand. And he also wanted me to know, listen, you can bear a kid. You can still bear a kid. You can still bear a couple. It's there. You can, just not right now, but you can. So I think it was one of those moments of that, of saying, listen, it's not too late for you. You can still have kids if you want to. And so I think he wanted to be able to just give me a couple of things that I know for myself that I just wanted to know and that I want to have and that I want to experience. But he wants me to experience it in a different type of way. And so I trust that. I trust the process. I trust everything that has happened. I trust all the things. I trust my people that surround me. Listen, I don't think people realize it that I found that I was pregnant on my birthday. So my birthday is already feeling like a little wonky a little bit, but it's my birthday that just passed. I feel more sense of a joy that I did have this little human growing inside of me, a joy that I'm in a place now where I can get on this camera and talk without crying. But I have the best friends. I have books. You can't see, but I'm wrapped up in a blanket right now that my best friend got for me because she knows the exact date where I lost the baby. So I got gifts. I got this little gift on my desk that reminds me of a beautiful baby that I carried for a couple of months. And so I got little moments and things like that. Yes, I get sad sometimes. And so like today, why am I deciding to talk about it today? One, I've been dealing with kids all day. So we had a backpack giveaway, seeing all those smiling faces. It reminded me of my baby that I carried for a couple of months. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to talk about it because I'm in a good space. I can do it without crying and I can do it to help someone else understand that talking about it helps, especially when you have a community of people around you who support you and love on you. Don't keep that stuff in, right? You can pray. You can have your moments of breakdown because, man, the amount of breakdowns I was having, or you never knew what you were getting. And I would tell you too, in that experience, right? Because it's so traumatic, like intimacy for me, it died for a second. Like, okay, I'm dramatic. It went away for a second. I didn't want it. I didn't want to be touched. I didn't want a thing. And a lot of times it's important to understand that, keep in mind your partner, a man, he may not understand. He may not understand what you're going through, what your body is going through, mentally what is going through. But make sure you have a partner there too who is just going to be there. Because don't get me wrong, because the emotions are all over the place, he may not know what to do. He may not know how to respond. You may not want a thing. You probably don't want him to talk. You just probably want him to be there. You probably want to hug him a little bit and just be wrapped up and just be. So just make sure that you understand in those moments. And it's crazy because I remember talking to my sister and I was expressing like, he doesn't understand what I've been through. And she was like, listen, men are dumb. And that's what she said. So in the moment, she said, you know what? Men are dumb. Okay. And let me explain. And so I immediately started laughing and I'm like, you're right. You're right. You're right. You got a point there. And so understand that men are not going to process things like you, but also it's still okay to have a partner that can be there for you, who can hug you, who can make sure you have everything you need, that you're comfortable, that they're just there. That's important. Making sure your partner is there. And if he's not there, guess what? You might want to look for another partner because he got to show up. He has to show up. But understand it. Don't rush. Don't rush your healing process. Don't rush when you want to move on. Don't rush any of that. Process all the things you need to process. And because of this experience, this experience that I went through, I'm already soft, but I'm a little softer. My heart is a little more softer and a little understanding. I have more compassion. My God. I hug. I hug longer than normal. I appreciate all the moments. I don't care if it's small. I was already an intentional person, but I'm very intentional. When I say, from everything that I say out my mouth to what I do, to what I pay attention to, I just think about all the ways of how this experience has made me a little softer. And I would tell you this, I had a short time with my baby. But those probably was some of the amazing weeks after finding out that I was having a baby. But it's not over, I will be able to have a baby another time when the time is right for me to give birth. And so I would tell you, one of the things I've gotten, one of my friends bought me this book because I remember the very first time where the day I lost the baby on. I didn't know how I was going to feel. I didn't. Some people forget and try to forget. Some people still have a hard time. But for me, I still think about it. It's still on my mind. It's just a lot. And so I have this book, me. And in that moment, I read some of the things at that book and the way I was able to process it, even if I'm crying or whatever the case may be, that was a little hard. Another day that was hard was Mother's Day. My first Mother's Day that where I would have gave birth was this year, in February. So me not being a mother in that moment, that was hard. But outside of that, that day I processed and spent a lot of time by myself. I was in Oregon, so I remember going to the waterfall and just breathing in all that crispy, fresh air. And so it was a beautiful thing. So I went to Oregon for Mother's Day. But with that being said, give yourself grace. Faith will continue to carry you a long way. Life changed me for the better. And I've learned many, many, many lessons. And rest. Take rest. Rest is important. Process all of your emotions and your feelings. Don't hold it in. Don't act tough. Whatever comes out, how it comes out, and it looks a mess, it's ugly, it don't even matter. Process whatever it is that you need to process. And so I wanted to be able just to kind of talk about my journey with that a little bit. Not too much, but if you want to go a little bit deeper, call my phone. I'll go a little bit deeper and give you some of the traumatic moments or how I process this or how I process that. I'll do that too. And so thank you. Thank you for all of my supporters. Man, listen, I got almost 200 listeners within the first 7 days. Okay. So thank you for listening. Is that how they do the heart? Thank you. Thanks for listening. It's only going to get better. I'm going to continue to open up. You're going to see me at some point, and not just me. You're going to see somebody else on here. And I'm going to continue to create this space of vulnerability, honesty, transparency, the real deal. Okay? Until next time, peace.